He threatened the human girl. She smiled, then snapped his arm mid-sentence. The cantina on Station Kepler 7 reeked of fermented algae and desperation. Nick sat alone at the corner table, her slight frame hunched over a data pad, fingers dancing across the holographic interface. To any observer, she looked like easy prey, a human girl, barely 20 standard years, with tangled dark hair and clothes 2 sizes too large. The perfect mark. Vrak thought so too. The Thoraxian enforcer stood 7 feet tall, his exoskeleton gleaming under the station's harsh fluorescent lights. Chitinous plates covered his torso like natural armor, and his 4 arms ended in claws that could pierce steel. He'd been watching the human for the better part of an hour, noting how she ignored the other patrons, how she seemed oblivious to the danger that permeated every corner of this lawless station. He approached with the confidence of someone who'd never lost a fight. "Little human," Vrak rumbled, his mandibles clicking together in what passed for a Thoraxian grin. "You're sitting in my booth." Nix didn't look up. Her fingers continued their steady rhythm across the data pad. Vrak's antenna twitched with irritation. He slammed one massive claw onto the table, cracking the synthetic wood. "I said." "I heard you," Nix replied softly, still not meeting his eyes. "I'm almost done." A ripple of interest moved through the cantina. Conversations died. Even the bartender, a 6-armed Quillen, paused mid-pour to watch. Vrak leaned down, bringing his face close to hers. His breath smelled like rotting meat. "You know what I do to humans who don't listen. Last one I met, I pulled her arms off. 1. By 1. He emphasized each word by tapping a claw against the table. Nix saved her work with a final tap. Then, slowly, she looked up at him. She smiled. It wasn't a nervous smile or a placating one. It was the kind of smile that made Vrak's instincts, honed over decades of violence, suddenly scream in warning. "That's fascinating," Nix said, her voice still gentle, almost melodic. "I knew a Thoraxian once. Nice guy. He taught me something interesting about your species." "Yeah." Vrak growled, though he found himself straightening slightly, unconsciously putting distance between them. "What's that?" "Your exoskeleton is incredibly strong," she continued, standing up. "What's that?" "Your exoskeleton is incredibly strong," she continued, standing up. She barely reached his chest. "But there's a weak point. Right here." She tapped his second left arm, just below the elbow joint, where 2 plates met. Vrak laughed, a harsh chittering sound. "You think you can?" Nix moved. Her hand shot out with inhuman speed, fingers finding that precise spot on his arm. There was a sound like breaking ceramics, a wet snap that echoed through the suddenly silent cantina. Vrak's arm bent at an impossible angle, the internal structure shattered beneath the supposedly impenetrable armor. The enforcer's scream was high-pitched, nothing like his earlier growl. He staggered back, cradling his ruined limb, his other 3 arms flailing. "You see," Nix said conversationally, picking up her data pad and tucking it into her jacket, "I'm not actually human." "Well, not entirely. Military augmentation program. Generation 7. They wanted soldiers who could pass for civilians." She tilted her head, studying Vrak like a scientist examining an insect. "My bones are reinforced with carbine weave. My muscles are synthetic fibers, 40 times stronger than organic tissue. And my reaction time is measured in microseconds." She stepped closer to the whimpering Thoraxian. "But the best part? I still look like a harmless little human girl." Nix picked up her drink, some kind of neon blue liquid, and drained it in one gulp. She set the glass down gently, then looked around the cantina at the dozens of eyes watching her. "The booth's all yours," she said to Vrak, then walked toward the exit with the same unhurried pace she'd maintained throughout the encounter. The door hissed shut behind her, and only then did the cantina explode into noise. Vrak collapsed onto the bench, his arm already swelling, his reputation shattered as completely as his bone. And somewhere in the station's maze of corridors, Nyx smiled again, already accessing her data pad to find her next mark. After all, intelligence gathering was so much easier when people underestimated you. Being underestimated, she'd learned, was the most powerful weapon of all.